What's up? It's Bob Perfect here, and we have traveled back to the somewhere between the 12th and 14th century, apparently. What is up? What's your name, sir? And why are you dressed this way?
I'm Josh Sutty, and I am a combatant for Team South Africa at this year's IMCF World Championships.
Okay. And so, what is the IMCF?
International Medieval Combat Federation. Sorry.
Okay.
And it's full contact medieval fighting with real steel weapons, real steel armor.
Full contact medieval fighting. So, like, basically the stuff that used to happen. They used to have tournaments for this stuff. They used to have like the Knights of the Round Table. And so you guys are just doing that for fun because you're bored. Why are you doing this?
Pretty much. Hey, I've been doing it since almost the beginning of it in South Africa, which is 17 years ago now.
Wow, I have no idea.
Yeah, started in 2001 here in Kloof. So I can't really say exactly why I'm doing it because I started doing this as a kid. So I've been doing it for longer than I haven't.
Okay, let me ask.
This is the best sport in the world, mate.
You consider this a sport where you take weapons and attack each other with them? Okay, it's a sport. So what are the rules?
It depends on your categories, but in the 1v1 categories, you're looking at points scored with the edge of the weapon, the striking areas of the weapon, on the striking targets of your opponent.
Okay, that does sound like a sport. That sounds like a lot of other combat sports.
Timed rounds, just like boxing. So in IMCF, which is what we're going to fight in, I'm fighting in the long sword category. So it's with a two-handed sword. You're going to be looking at clear, undefended blows from the weapon against the body of your opponent, body or head. There is limited wrestling and grappling, kicking, punching as well.
Okay.
And then there's what's called the Behoort, which is a bit more unique to our sport. That's team fights, 5-on-5, 10-on-10.
See, this is what I found. Like, I saw videos of this, and I was like, that looks insane. It literally looks like a battle, like a proper like medieval battle where just everyone in a village is trying to kill each other.
Well, it's a bit more organized than that, but it's pretty much a full-on battle. So we are sending, for the second year in a row, we're sending a ladies 3v3 team. And for the first time ever, we're sending a men's 5-on-5 team, which is acknowledged as sort of the sort of most competitive area of the sport, 5v5 men's. So there's Julian next to me. He's my one male teammate from KZN. It's us and 3 guys from Joburg, so no reserves, unfortunately.
Perfect. I actually wanted to chat to some of the women about this because you guys are the ones, like, from what I understand, you're the forerunners almost of the international competition for South Africa, right?
Yeah, we kind of are because I think it was the first time in the history of IMCF a country sent a women's team before they sent a men's team. So that was last year. We competed in Denmark. Okay. And Bronwyn is our team captain.
Well, we're lucky enough this year where we have 4 ladies going over, where last year we had 3. And then hopefully next year, God willing, or the gods willing, we'll have 5 or 6. So then we'll be able to do 3v3 and 5v5, which I'm hoping with help from my teammates that we'll get more women involved.
So this isn't a sport that's like, from the outside, I would look at this and go, that doesn't look like a thing that most women would be into. But coming here, it's woman dominated essentially. Like, I mean, tonight at least, there's more women than men, and you guys were the forerunners of this thing. How do you get involved in something so traditionally, like, it is a violent thing. So, like, why?
It is traditionally male dominated, yeah. But throughout history, there are actually hundreds of examples of women who have either fought in battles or led battles. Joan of Arc is obviously your stereotypical example, but there are loads and loads of other women that no one ever hears about that actually, they were there. They were there right next to the guys, leading the guys, defending the castles when the men were away, and that kind of thing. So it's not actually that unusual, but in our culture, unfortunately, men are more warlike and women are expected to be more subservient and at home in the kitchen with the children and making supper. The fairer sex. But
do you guys fight fairer?
Well, you know, we're pretty awesome.
When you guys fight and stuff, there's real chance for injury here. Like, from my understanding, I mean, these are real weapons. You're wearing real armor. Just the armor alone is like 30, 40 kgs. I mean, personally, I would get injured just putting that thing on my head. Like, how do you deal with, like, I mean, yeah, what's the psychology behind this?
Practice. That's it, practice.
So practice is how you don't get hurt, but surely there's an element to this that, I mean, you want to hurt the other person a little bit, or is it just about, sorry, that's just like, because it is about bettering other people, but the violence, like.
Yeah, you have to be big, great balls of steel.
Yeah. Also, no, but fitness actually plays a really, really big part in it. Because I know when I first started, it was exceptionally hard for me just to kind of do 1v1s, where it's like, what, a minute and a half, 2? But basically, it's when you're unfit, that 1 minute feels like at least 10.
Yeah.
So the key to this is building up your fitness, building up your stamina. And that also comes with being in your armor for long enough that you kind of, when you feel the weight and you get used to the weight, your body gets stronger, you build the stamina.
Because, I mean, all the things you're talking about there are, you know, traditional things that you need to work on in combat sports, you know, like MMA stuff, like, you know, getting gassed is a huge issue. So you guys basically face a lot of the similar issues that the MMA people would face. Just you have someone forging your weapons in a smith, and I assume you, the guy who makes weapons, is what I've heard. Mostly. Yeah. What goes into that?
A lot of hard work usually.
But I mean, so what are you doing? Are you taking a hammer, banging it against some steel?
The weapons we use are mostly made according to the traditional way. For example, this axe, I made that axe.
So typically once you've made your weapon, how long again before you need to work on it again? Like, do you have to fix stuff a lot?
If you make good quality weapons, generally they last at least 5 years, maybe longer. Swords we break occasionally, but that's the name of the game.
I was going to say, how did Durban become, like, because there's 5 members of 9 people traveling for South Africa to the champs. How did Durban become this place that, like, it's really has the most people that are, you know, doing the best?
I think it's got to do with the development of the sport in this country, because it started down here. It's happening in Joburg, and it has been happening as full contact in Joburg for as long as it's been here. But we were doing other forms of medieval fighting before then for a good 14 years before it started in Joburg. So, I mean, I've been in this since the beginning in 2001. So we've sort of seen it gain traction where we used to start, we just used to fight in the park with cut off pangas and cricket gloves. And we used to use what was called the honor system. So if you hit somebody, then they would accept a point. And if they didn't accept the point, you'd hit them a bit harder. So
this sounds like kind of like childhood memories of, you know, when you would play cricket and someone would snick the ball and you'd be like, that's definitely out.
Yeah, no, well, at least there were bruises to show for it in the beginning. But every 2 years, pretty much, was a different SA champion from Durban.
That's awesome. I mean, I had no idea about any of this stuff. How do people get involved in this? If they want to join you guys, if they want to be a part of this, what are the steps that you can take? Because, I mean, it's like, hopefully someone watching this now like goes, I want to do that. So what steps can they take?
Let's hope, because it takes a special kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But it's great fun. And so we get in contact with us. We are KZN Rogue Squadron. We train here in Drummond. This is our training ground. There's also Durban Sword and Shield Club in Hillcrest, Assegai.
Cool, guys. I think we've got most of what we need here. You guys are going to be training now, so we're going to get some footage of that.
Yeah,
we're going to see what
fights.
that's... Because I want to see this in action. I am genuinely...
No,
I do not want to put on some armor and have a go. I am terrified. Look at you. This man looks like he came straight out of Game of Thrones. It's the mountain's bigger brother. I am definitely not going to be doing that. But thank you so much for your time.
I'm going to hit you then.
You're recording.
Okay.
You got to get that on camera.
Oh, god damn it.
This is
god damn it. I wasn't expecting This is not.
Okay, come on. You'll be fine.
Okay, you ready?
No.
Move your hand. It's not that bad.
Josh, I'll buy you a
It's
six
not
pack
that
and you can
bad, but
cut
it's
it.
bad. Like, it sucks. That, ow. Like, that is disorientating as fuck. Like, that is honestly not a good time, and I don't understand why you think that's funny.
Check
Well,
my-
you don't
check my
stand there
helmet
and get
dents.
hit for it.